mind game from here, and it's very hard to predict how they're going to feel. Even in the last 5K can make a huge difference in the marathon.
And they'll go over a little bridge here, so they'll go up over this little bridge, they'll go around a roundabout, which will break their rhythm up a little bit, and then they'll head out along the road for probably around about a kilometre before they'll turn and then start to come back towards the finish line.
So whether this is a point at which, rises and bridges can sometimes be a point at which somebody decides to put the pedal to the metal and test their compatriot there, but they're still side by side, seeing Ruto and 2014 winner Sila Limo. They both look fantastic. They've come through over that little bridge, that little rise, without any break in stride. Kenneth Mungara is still very much in the picture there, literally and figuratively, as we go around the roundabout. So Kenneth Mungara probably 10 to 15 seconds back off the pace there. Not totally gone. I mean, if both of these leaders slip the pace a little bit, who knows if Mungara could come back into the picture with the two Eritreans.
Like this, there's 5 guys with pretty much around about 100 metres that's separating them.
Yep.
So no one is completely out by any stretch of the imagination at the moment here. So what will happen is when they hit that turn and they head back and they've got to go back over that bridge again, we're talking 15 seconds.
Yep.
And I can see Takenaka, she's extended her lead now to 3 minutes, and we're looking at 17 minutes now from the 25 to 30 kilometre mark, and I think that is showing a 2:26 marathon type time, maybe a bit faster, maybe a bit slower, but she's certainly running fantastic.
So Takenaka, Benita, is probably, so she's running a race in her head as much as anything, in her heart as well, because it does test you on every level like that. Having a 3-minute gap, how does that play out? Is that can be a double-edged sword for you at this point in time?
It can be, and you've got to have a lot of mental strength to be able to be running away from the field that far out. I mean, she was over a minute ahead at 25k, so she's extending her lead, so it just means that she can run a lot by herself, but we're not seeing a lot of coverage on the screen here of the women, so I think that she's probably running with a few men which are really dragging her through. Fantastic run.
So we are down very much deep into the business end of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. Limo's face looking perhaps a little more distressed than Ruto there, but they're almost exchanging grimaces there as they exchange stride for stride as well, Troopy. Impossible to pick a winner at this point in time. They both look good.
And Mungara is still hanging in there, so anything can happen.
So the hairdresser from Nairobi, Kenneth Mungara, still in the picture. We're going to cross out to Mossy and Robbo, who are out on the course, with Channel 7's Mark Beretta.
Well, here we are in the corporate hospitality area. We went to the Legends lunch yesterday, but we've got a legend right here. Mark Beretta, tell us, mate, the atmosphere within not just the corporate hospitality area, but at the finish line.
Oh, everything. Look, everything since yesterday morning has been amazing. Even we started with a dinner on Friday night, was incredible. You guys were at the Legends lunch yesterday. The vibe in that room and the anticipation and the excitement for everyone who was getting ready for today was just incredible. This is such a contagious event. There's so much great energy here. It's fantastic.
Now, mate, have you had a chance to sample some of the food and the beverages here?
I'm on to my 400th chocolate croissant, if that's what you mean.
You only did the 5K, didn't you, yesterday? I don't know if you can afford to eat all that much.
I need to load back up. That was a big deal for me.
Hey, we're here, speaking of anticipation and excitement, we're waiting for the leaders to come through here at the finish line. But, mate, the anticipation for the corporate hospitality, that's usually something that gets a lot of people excited. You've been happy with the quality of it here, obviously?
Absolutely first class. I mean, look, you talk about facilities for different events around the world, and to have this right on the finish line and I guess legends of the sport here, and you get to rub shoulders with some of the greats.
With ourselves?
It's fantastic. With you guys, which is, for me, that's a big highlight. So, no, it's awesome. This event does it so well on every level. I can't believe I haven't been here sooner. It's my first one. I'll see you next year. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, what about for all our international viewers out there? What sort of how would you describe the Gold Coast?
Oh, it's a magic place. I think we're going to really put the Gold Coast on show with the 2018 Commonwealth Games. That's when the world will really see how good this place is. But you look at today, where else in the world would you want to be today?
It's meant to be winter.
Yeah, in the middle of winter. And you look at the course and what you get to see along the way that the good weather brings the crowds out as well. So I know that all along the course at the moment, people are out on their balconies. They're cheering out the runners as they go along. mate, it's a superb event.
All right, well, we're locking you in next year. What do you think? 10K next year, or can we get you into the half?
I've done a couple of halves before.
Yeah.
I could have a go at the half, so yeah, dude, pin me in.
Good.
Give me a big target.
And you've got the family here as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And the kids have had a run over the weekend.
Yeah, that's why we did the 5.7. We did it together as a family. Their little guy, Dan's a keen little runner, so they took off. I am the slowest runner in my family, but I can wear that and I will improve.
Very good. Well, even on the bike, I know you're a keen cyclist, the Tour de Cure, great cause. Maybe there's a job for you in the pace bike.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe I should have a go at that.
There you go. Very good.
Well, there we are. Mark Beretta here in the corporate hospitality area of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. We're going to throw it back up to the boys in the studio.
Located just metres from the city's iconic coastline, is currently the 6th busiest airport in Australia and plays a key role in driving tourism to our region. Connectivity to the Gold Coast has never been better, with an extensive domestic and international network offering direct services from New Zealand, Fiji, Malaysia, Singapore and Japan. Gold Coast Airport is proudly owned and operated by Queensland Airports Limited, a regional airport specialist with an emphasis on creating significant regional development in Queensland.
Welcome back to the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. We are in the closing stages, literally less than 13 minutes of running, and we are seeing Sila Limo, who has made a decisive break. 5 to 10 metres break on Dennis Ruto. Kenneth Mungara sitting back from there. We have a result, our first result in the wheelchair marathon male. Troopy, good to see, Bill Chaffee getting up over his rival Richard Nicholson. Good 5-minute victory there.
Yeah, 1 hour, 41 minutes and 22 seconds. So Bill was absolutely fantastic this morning, and Richard came through in 1 hour, 46 minutes and 53 seconds. And, you know, great to see, obviously, both those athletes going at each other as hard as they can.
Pushing each other to the limit, and that is what we are seeing here on screen. One African pushing each other to the limit, Dennis Ruto, but he is now the challenger behind the leader, Sila Limo, and we have trailing them, but certainly not out of the race or out of the picture, Kenneth Mungara. So it is a race in 3. Mungara, it's a little bit hard to tell from that, but I wouldn't totally rule him out here. We probably have about 3 kilometres of running to go, probably coming up to the 40 kilometre mark. We're probably 38 kilometres, in fact, as we look at these guys come through. Mungara, he's challenging again. He is getting back on. I cannot believe he's expended this much energy to slip back and then challenge again. Is it possible he could run through the top of them, Troopy?
Certainly, and that's what I said before. I'm going to stop turning around saying that I think he's gone, because every time we've said that, he's been able to get himself onto the back of these two. So he's running a fantastic race. We saw this with Yuki Kawachi a couple of years ago. He was off, he was on, he was off, he was on. We rode him off a few times and he ended up coming through for victory. So the great thing about the marathon is, especially in the last 10 kilometres, anything can happen. You can go from chocolates to boiled lollies very, very quickly.
Benita, who would you rather be at this point in time? Mungara chasing, Ruto and Limo fading. What does it do to them psychologically when suddenly they hear Mungara breathing down their necks again?
I mean, I'd rather be chasing Mungara, especially like when you've got them in your sights and he just looks really full of energy. I think Limo, he's grabbing at his side, but he's looking around like he's not looking really confident. And I think you just get that energy when you catch up to the pack. And as long as he doesn't get overexcited, I think, you know, that's the guy I'd rather be. I mean, he's gone to the front now, so...
Well, having chased, he really does have to keep moving, doesn't he? He doesn't want to sit with them. He wants to assert his authority on the race. He really does want to push through, as incredibly difficult as that would be.
Oh, it's difficult at this time in the race, but yeah, you're right. I mean, if I was him, I'd be trying to push through, trying to get a gap and really break their spirits and just run away with it. And they're close to the finish now and they can smell, well, one of them can smell victory, but I think he's got to keep the momentum going.
We're 10 minutes from these guys finishing the race. So, you know, we're going to see something, you know, obviously in probably the next kilometre. And I reckon there's going to be one pushing for it. And at this stage, when you look at the way they're bouncing 10 minutes out, Mungara looks fantastic. Limo looks like he's struggling. He's really, really grimacing. And Rudo, I don't know. Every time I sort of think that, he's probably going to start to struggle, he finds another gear. But Mungara looks great.
If you look at the cadence and the bounce of these three runners, certainly Mungara almost looks as strong at the 39-kilometre mark as he did at the 9-kilometre mark. He looks fantastic.
Well, look at his core. Like, he's really robust and he's strong. He's not wavering. You don't see him actually have a lot of hip rotation between left and right. He looks really, really good. And this is all about efficiency. That's what the marathon is. He looks the most efficient out of those other two that are there.
Now we will turn back onto the Gold Coast Highway very soon, where the crowd will lift the spirits of these three runners. This is fantastic to see. We've not seen three runners this close in the closing stages of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon for many years. Usually we've had a clear leader or someone chasing down. So this is very exciting to see. I've lost track of, we must still be on race record pace looking at these three guys here. And they are pushing it to the hard. No one would be relaxing. Kenneth Mungara, the veteran, dare we call him a veteran, or he's a master at least officially in the masters category. He's surely got to make a move now. He cannot sit and let these guys gain strength from being able to stay with him. He really has to be pushing on, doesn't he, Benita?
Oh, he's got to be pushing on, and I think, the longer they stay with him, the more they can get their strength back. And we just don't really know. We know Limo knows how to win these races, and people that know how to win, if they just get their strength back, they're dangerous at the end. So he's got to keep pushing.
So we'll be looking for the 40-kilometre mark very soon through there. And I'm sure we're still on race record pace. I guess the issue is, do we crack sub 2:9? That will take the Gold Coast Marathon to a whole new level again. 2:9:14 is the record. The women, last time we checked, Benita, they were on race record pace with our Japanese leader, Takenaka, having a good clear lead there and trying to push herself through.
Yeah, they were on course record pace as well, and Takenaka, she's got a 3-minute gap, probably over that now on Nogami, and we just saw a picture of Nogami before. So, yeah, those women are running fantastic.
Fantastic pictures showing the splendour and the tranquility of the Gold Coast Marathon waterways. Certainly splendour in their running. I'm not sure how tranquil internally these three gentlemen are, but the one who would probably be most at ease with himself and feeling very strong is Kenneth Mungara. Are we seeing? So we've got that rubber band there. He is trying to break that en route. It's certainly not a winning break, but he is putting it on the line, Troopy. At this point in time, he thinks, I've got to push through. I've got to get the winning break at this point in time.
Well, we've gone almost 40 kilometres, and this is actually one of the most decisive marks that we've seen in this race. In the closing stages, to be able to go from, being 5, 10, 15 metres off to turn that into actually being a lead, I would say that this is pretty much the move, and we're probably looking at our winner right now.
Potentially the oldest winner in Gold Coast Marathon history as well. We'd have to check the record books. It would go back a long way, perhaps to some of the early days of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, but
15:23 for that 5K, between 35 and 40. So they've kept it extremely consistent. As I said, you take away the first 10K where they were all under sub 15. They've been hitting that sort of 15 to 15:25 mark consistently for the last 30 kilometres.
Kenneth Mungara is really applying the pressure to his two Kenyan rivals. He is pushing through 40 kilometres. He's 2 kilometres from home, probably less than 7 minutes of running. Looks strong, looks in winning form, and he has what probably looks like, that's 10 or 15 metres. It's not definitely a winning gap there, Benita, but he'd certainly be feeling comfortable.
Yeah, you've got to back him at the moment, but you're right. It's not a winning lead, but it's enough to just start breaking the spirits of the other guys there. And they want to run him down, but their bodies may not let them. And Mungara just keeps running away with it. He just keeps gaining momentum, and he is really close now, so he can sniff the victory. And I think as you get closer to the finish, you're seeing more and more people as well on the course, so that's going to really help him. But the guy, they're still reasonably close. I think he's extending his lead, but he's just got to keep going with that momentum and really believe in himself that he can actually win this.
He's sub 2:9. Okay,
yep.
We're looking roughly at around about 2:8:30. to 2:8:45 pace at the moment. So we're certainly going to see a new course record.
Well, you wouldn't imagine they're going to slow given this point in time. We are less than 2 kilometres. Mungara having a little look over his shoulder. Perhaps that he just wants to assure himself that he has established a decisive break. So the crowd will become a factor as we come into the home stretch here. Tents of local running clubs line the last kilometre or so. So it will be interesting to see how much the crowd becomes a factor as they really lift these runners coming into the final stages of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. You're looking at Kenneth Mungara, age 41, the hairdresser from Nairobi. Extraordinary story. He was cutting the hair of elite runners back home in Nairobi, started eavesdropping on their conversations about training and what they did. It was a bit of a casual jog, but by no means serious. Slimby told himself, well, maybe I can run as fast as them and beat them. Well, today he is proving that he can beat elite runners around the world to record what would be his 3rd marathon win inside 12 months. He's had winning form into this, and winning form is always a good indicator, isn't it, Troopy?
It certainly is. You can only go by the form guide, and thank goodness we didn't go by that form guide each 5K split today, Ian, otherwise we would have been in trouble. But he has really executed the perfect race, and as I said, every time that group kept surging, he would drop off, and then he would over the next, 1.5 kilometres, slowly work himself back onto that pack. So I think him not following every single surge that took place allowed him to conserve just a little bit more energy and utilise that in the closing parts where it really counted. He's already waving. He's still got about.
Is that a victory wave and salute?
He's got another K to go, but he's confident.
He's a wonderful character. I had a chat with him. He oozes confidence and fun and ebullience for his running. He looks fantastic. He looks as if he thinks he's got this in the bag. It is fantastic to see somebody of his vintage giving hope to other marathon runners around the world. This won't be a PB, but it'll certainly be a fantastic time for him. 2:7:36 is his best time, but he probably won't be too much off that. He looks totally in control.
He certainly does. And we talked about his form. He's kept his form intact the whole race. So even though he was dropping off, at no time did he start to get a little bit of rotation through his trunk where he was swinging from left to right. The marathon is all about efficiency, and it's the person that can maintain the efficiency the longest that'll usually go on to win. And he's got perfect form. Like I said, no rotation. He's not swinging from left to right. He's up on his toes. He's propelling himself forward, and he looks amazing.
The closing stages of the race as Kenneth Mungara leads the field in what has been a cracking pace of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. Record-breaking pace. He's on record-breaking time. Less than 3 minutes to the finish line. So we've come through 41 kilometres. Kenneth Mungara just having another reassuring look. I wouldn't want him to see him have too many more of those looks, Benita, but he thinks he's got the race in the bag, and surely he's driving hard for the finish. He can't be run down from here.
No, he's not going to be run down, and I think that little wave to the crowd way back there, I think that shows that he's quite relaxed, and you don't want to be too relaxed, but when you're relaxed, you run faster and you can just keep that momentum going, and he's aware of everything around him. And I think that just shows that he's probably, he's hurting, but he's still really, really focused on the finish, and he's ready to win this, and I think, he's going to go away with it. He might even extend his lead a little now with the crowd, but he is hurting. He just wants to make sure that they're not, coming up on him.
Surely that wave to the crowd earlier wasn't a sign that he's enjoying the marathon at the 41 kilometre mark?
Oh, I think it's just a sign that he's relaxed and he's really pumped to be in this position. But he's going to be going as hard as he can to the finish, and he looks a little bit grimacing in the face, but he's not. His form is fantastic.
He's going to hang a left in a minute.
So we'll be coming into the finishing chute very shortly. Kenneth Mungara, he is straining for the finish, but he looks relaxed. It would be very emotional for him internally, but trying to keep those emotions in check as he takes the final turn. This is going to be a fantastic time, a fantastic race for Kenneth Mungara, the winner of the 2015 Gold Coast Airport Marathon. I guess the trick is, do we go certainly sub 2:9 with a race record? Do we go sub 2:8:30? Could we think that it was going to be
about 2:8:45, I reckon. There was 250 metres to go when he went under. So we're now coming up to 2 hours 8 and 15 seconds. He'll turn and he'll just be just shy of the 2:8:30 mark.
So the finishing chute in his sights. Kenneth Mungara striding strongly to the finish over compatriots Ruto and Limo. Kenneth Mungara, the winner of the 2015 Gold Coast Airport Marathon. A decisive victory, a courageous victory. This man has rewritten the record books here on the Gold Coast. Kenneth Mungara, what a wonderful time, what a wonderful victory. He blesses himself. 2.8, you're pretty close, Troopy. Certainly sub 2.9, a race record by 30 seconds.
At 2.8.43.
2.8.43 is the official time.
Unofficial.
Sorry, unofficial, yes, we will have to have that adjusted. It is Kenya, 1, 2, 3.
That is an amazing race. I mean, to put that into perspective, you know, they were all at a sub 2.6 pace through the first 10K. He was on, he was off, he was on, he was off. Ruto and Limo looked absolutely fantastic. You sat there and you looked there and you're thinking this is going to be a race between these two. But as quickly as those two looked fantastic, they started to fatigue, they started to get tired. Mungara, he sensed that, he was able to get on, and he made that decisive move just past the 40-kilometre mark and was able to run on. And his form was amazing. Like, normally when you get older, you break down a little bit because there's a lot of wear and tear on your body. But he doesn't have the years of running that obviously some of the other athletes are that he competes against. He's only been doing this for a very short time, and he used his age, obviously his ability and his strengths to the maximum value that he could.
Benita, you don't see, having said what Troopy has, too many marathons run by guys who use that tactic of, you know, dropping off, catching back on. It's usually run by guys who run much steadier. So it is extraordinary on many levels to see a race won this way.
You don't often see this happening, and I think you'll find, when they interview him, we'll see if he was just, losing a bit of confidence and then coming back on.
You know, we look at the first three. Mungara, Limo, Ruto, all under 2.9.
Fantastic to see. We're going to cross down to Mossy and Robbo, who are with our winner, Kenneth Mungara, in a record-breaking time.
Go. Well, here we are, finisher, the winner of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, Kenneth Mungara. Mate, you must be feeling fantastic. Congratulations. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot, mate. It's my first time here in Australia.
And as far as the run today, the conditions, how did it pan out? Did it go to your race plan?
Yeah, it was very good. There's no wind. It was very, very good. I have enjoyed it.
And when you came around that final corner and you got that time well and truly under 2:09, the fastest time here at the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, the fastest time ever on Australian soil. Was that your plan today, to run that fast?
Yes, I was targeting to break the record. So I was to focus during my this time.
And the great Pat Carroll, who's been a winner here before, he was a big fan of yours, and he's been talking up the hairdresser from Kenya, and you got the job done today. What will this mean? You'll win some money here today. What will that mean for you back home in Kenya?
Oh, it mean a lot because I have a family, so they can plan for it because I'm working hard for them. Yeah.
And you're the current Masters world record holder for the marathon. We think we're going to wait unofficially. We think you might have broken your own mark today. Not bad for a 41-year-old, Kenneth.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad to hear that.
Do you think you can go faster?
Yes, I can go faster.
Very good. Well, you're going to keep a lot of these young bucks on their toes for many, many years to come.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, sub 2:10 today. The future, where's the next marathon for you?
Oh, I don't know, but I'll go, then I'll relax and then I'll train, then I can go to the next marathon. Yeah.
Well, there you go, guys. The hairdressing marathoner here, the winner of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, Kenneth Mungara, right here.
Fantastic, Mossy and Robbo with Kenneth Mungara. Benita and Trippy, I actually think we might have a new piece of history here on the Gold Coast if this time is totally accurate. 2:08.42, Kenneth Mungara's winning time, would make it a world record. A world record for Masters over 40, set in Milan earlier this year. What a piece of history, and we may be seeing more history in the women's marathon here, Benita. I know you'll be excited about this, but we're loving it as well. Takenaka, the Japanese marathon runner, clear winner, daylight second. She's probably 3 kilometres from home or something like that. She's been through 35, maybe a little bit more than that.
Yeah, she's been through 35k in 2:02.09. She's a bit further along than there now, but her lead is slightly decreasing because it was 3 minutes at 30k, which is a slight worry, but she's still miles ahead, and she's just got to keep going and keep going with her pace. And our course record 2:27.17, that's looking to go, but she's just got to be really strong in this last 10k.
Her form, it looks as if she's in a bit of hurt there. She is grimacing at times. Swinging her arms quite energetically almost to try and drag the legs along. Who knows if we're going to see her being run down. That's a big lead. It would be surprising. She'd have to slow very dramatically and come into a lot of trouble if she was to be run down. Nagami, her Japanese compatriot, is second. She won't be able to see her yet, Nagami, to know that she's still in the race. And mentally, that makes a difference. You really need to be able to sight someone to find that extra lift to try and run them down.
Yeah, it is very hard to run down that amount of time for Nagami. And both of these girls, we know they're quite young, mid-20s, and they haven't got a lot of experience with the marathon, but certainly they're within 10 seconds of each other at their last marathon they raced in Nagoya earlier this year. So you know that Takenaka, she's well under PB pace here. So you know, she's never been in this position before, and she's just got to maintain that strength and keep it going. And it doesn't really matter if she slows slightly anyway. She's still going to run a really fast time. But these parts of the course, I think, are really hard. As we saw with the men, there's hardly anyone there, direct sunlight. You've just got to be really strong in your mind there and just keep going and keep doing what you're doing. And she's had a fantastic run. She's been by herself for a long time. So, I mean, if she can hold it together and win it and run really well here, brilliant run, brilliant run.
So she's still got a turn or two, a rise or two over the bridge. That will challenge her rhythm and her pace. I guess the challenge for her is keeping the emotions in check as well. She knows she's in front. Whether she's feeling like she's running scared or running strong triumphantly with a significant lead there, but she won't know how far she is in front, I guess, is part of the difficulty for her.
And the bridge has already been done, so she'll be taking a left soon to head back around the foreshore. She'll be coming up to the 40-kilometre mark fairly soon. She's been going now for 2 hours and 17 minutes, so we should be seeing her finish within the next 9 to 10 minutes.
So just through, was that 39 kilometres?
And she may not know, you know, how far she is in front. And certainly a lead like that is a decisive lead. And she knows she's running well, and she knows she's running fast. She'd be knowing her split times in the press conference. She said a very exact figure of the time that she wanted to chase. And I've heard that her coach, he's watching from Tokyo, and he's hoping that she can run anything under 2:28. So that'd be brilliant. That'd be a new PB for her. And, you know, if she goes under the course record, that's just a bonus. But 2:27 is a very honest time, low 2:27. So, yeah. It's going to be great to watch her and just battle with herself. It's a race against herself. There's no one else there.
So the legend of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon will continue to grow in Japan with this wonderful front running of Takenaka, the lead Japanese female runner, grimacing, hurting, trying to hold her form as she heads along the foreshore coming back towards Southport. Trying to stay relaxed, that would be key for her, just not expending too much unnecessary energy, trying to dig deep into that emotional pain zone and test herself to the absolute limit, Troopy. This is the mental and the real heart part of the race.
And we're looking probably, Benita, the last 2.2 kilometres, roughly around about 8 minutes, aren't we, for her to close out. So she'll be coming up to the 40-kilometre mark now, and the time that she will have, if we add on roughly around about 8 minutes, that's what we will be expecting for her to be her finish time. So we're going to get a good indication at 40k as to whether she's still under the course record.
So we'd want to see her come through around 2:19 if we are to get a new women's record to join the men's course record here at the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, and subject to confirmation, a new world record here at the Gold Coast Airport Marathon with Kenneth Mungara, we think, running a world record Masters time. 2:08.42 is the time that we have for Mungara, which is just to be officially ratified. We'll bring that to you very shortly. The sun rising over the water here of the Broadwater at Gold Coast Airport Marathon at Southport. You're looking at Japanese runner Takenaka, who is in some trouble.
She just went over one of those speed bumps there, and that's a yeah, she just wasn't really watching closely, but hopefully she can just recover from that. It might be a sign her legs are getting really tired, I don't know, but I know she had some trouble with that speed bump.
Well, I wonder if she's cramping up here, if there's losing a bit of muscle coordination, if that is a sign of dehydration and muscle cramping. It is starting to get certainly quite warm out there now. This will be a challenge for Risa Takenaka. This will challenge her emotionally and mentally on every level, won't it, Troopy? This will be interesting to watch.
It certainly will. I mean, she's closing it out. We know that she's a good 2 or 3 minutes in front of second place. We don't think she's gone through the 40-kilometre mark now, which has to be coming up very, very soon. We've just gone over 2 hours and 20 minutes. So we're looking at around about 2:28, which won't be a course record, but she should still be the only person or only female that will be under 2.5 hours today.
So she looks as if she might have regained form there after a quite stumbling, bumbling couple of 100 metres there, just losing her coordination and strong footing over the speed bump there. So we are through 40 kilometres there.
Yep, 2 hours, 20 minutes and 27 seconds. So again, if we add on roughly around about 8 minutes for the last 2.2.
8 minutes might become 8:30, do you think, if she's fading a little bit?
She still will be under 2:30.
Yep.
Yeah, she's slowed a fair bit between 35 and 40k though, which is a little worrying, but she's got a big lead, and I think if she can close out this race, and she was 7th in the Great North Run late last year, and she's probably never won a major city race, definitely never won a major city marathon. So she's in uncharted territory now, and we know she's hurting. We've seen a few little stumbles, and she's just got to hold it together, and she'd be so pleased with herself to come away with the win today in a IAAF Gold Label race. It would be fantastic to see this, but Nugami is getting the distance back, but she still hasn't passed 40k, so still a good lead there for Takenaka.
If she used to go sub 2:30, it would still be a stellar time. Only 3 women have gone sub 2:30 here at the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, and surprise, surprise, Benita, all Japanese women. So their dominance of the race here, the women here at the Gold Coast, their love affair with the race, the numbers of Japanese runners in the race. Just looking through some of those statistics before of the international numbers, certainly strong representation from Japan. Over 600 runners from Japan, 500 from New Zealand, 250 from China. So certainly the numbers are up from Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, Singapore, Taiwan, Japan, still a strong representation. So wonderful entries. Taiwan, there's a surprise, 420 runners from Taiwan here. And you're looking at Risa Takenaka, who would be in a world of pain, trying to get water, trying to get some hydration into herself. But she knows the finish line is close. She knows that there is not much more to go. And if she can just keep pushing through, it is a matter of just holding on and pushing and pushing.
Yeah, and we saw her take one of her drinks at just past the 40k mark. So, I mean, she's just... sometimes you feel a bit of energy when you take one of your own drinks. It just gives you that little boost, and I think she knows the finish is there. She knows she hasn't got much longer than 5-6 minutes of running left, and I think she's going to win. But she's really done it tough, I think, this last 7 or 8k.
And in this closing part, it's interesting, exactly what they're consuming from a nutritional point of view. So I used to finish off my last, 2 drink bottles with flat Coke, just to be able to get the caffeine and the sugar to give me a little bit of a rush and a little bit of a pep to be able to find something to close out. So that drink bottle that she took at 40 kilometres, a lot of people might be thinking, well, why would she need to take that when she's only 2 kilometres from the end? Her last drink was at 35k, so whatever she's got in that, she's hoping is going to give her a little bit of a pep to get her over the line.
So we see no sign of the chasing runner Nugami within sight. We can see her on screen taking some sort of special drink. Nugami, there she is.
So she's past 40k there at the drink stop.
So it would be hard to see Takenaka getting run down from here. Nugami from Japan is the second placed runner. Keiko Nugami, PB of 2:28. So she won't be running a PB, I wouldn't think, but it on current form, current times, our race leader Risa Takenaka will become only the 4th woman to go sub 2:30 here at the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. Now she looks strong, Benita. She looks as if she knows the end, the finish, and a triumphant finish. is very close at hand.
Yeah, and she's just checking her watch, and we know that, you know, she's got a lot of energy coming from Tokyo, coming from Japan. Everyone that's following the race over there, her coach is watching from Tokyo, and he's willing her on. Her manager's watching from Boulder, Colorado, and we know that, you know, people are right behind her, and she's close to the finish. She can smell victory. She's just got to finish it as well as she can. But you know that she's hurting in her body. She's hurting everywhere, and we've seen a few stumbles on the road just before that 40k mark. So we just want to see her finish strongly and you know, do as well as she can. Fantastic effort.
There are no endeavours in the human world of physical endurance that challenge you, such as the end of a marathon, Troopy. Unless you've run one, you really can't know what this athlete is going through.
This is all mental now. You know, you're hoping that you've been able to get this muscle recall that just keeps coming through. And we did see her stumble a couple of times heading over those speed bumps, which that shows fatigue. But if you look at a lot of the Japanese women, their style is very low and compact to the ground. They're not taking big strides. So something that looks pretty small and insignificant, when you've already got a small pitter-patter of a stride, you've then got a raise to go up over a speed hump. Those things, especially with fatigue, can affect you. But she's really trying to close this out as best as she can. You can see she's tired. She doesn't have the full flow and stride pattern that she had at the early parts of the race. But this is just all mental now. She's really just grimacing and trying to see this out.
So Risa Takenaka of Japan is our race leader. Is that a grimace or is that a smile, Benito? I don't think she's quite smiling at this point in time. She is doing it tough, but surely she must be feeling good within herself, knowing that she is very, very close to victory.
Yeah, I think it's probably a grimace and a little smile mixed together, and she would know this course quite well, even though she's never run it before. She would know all the markers, and she knows exactly when she needs to turn left and to be close to the finish. And we've seen Mungara, she's pegged back over a minute and a half in the last 12k, but Takenaka, her lead is too far that she's going to win the race, but she knows she's close.
So we're joined in the commentary box here by Cameron Hart, and Cameron, we're looking. We've certainly had a men's race record and still history making here with the fourth woman only to go under 2:30, Risa Takenaka. Terrific year, another terrific year for you guys as we call the final Japanese runner home.
Yeah, it certainly has. You know, from starting yesterday morning with Marty Dent taking out the 10k to this morning with 4 men under 210 and 3 of them under 209. It's just an awesome day for everyone.
Now, do you know at this stage whether we're speculating about Mungara, whether that's a world record, a Masters world record? I had him at 208.44 as his previous record. If 208.42 is official, that is a world record.
We're still crunching those numbers on that, but that's an awesome part of this weekend. We've got a 40-year-old takes out the Gold Coast Airport Marathon in an Australian all-comers record and potentially a world record for his age group. So it's been a great weekend.
Risa Takenaka, who is coming into the final finishing chute. She has only several hundred metres. She is straining, she's driving those arms, lifting them higher, wheeling herself to the finish line, knowing that she has victory well and truly within her grasp. The interest now will be the time as the crowd lifts her to a triumphant finish down here at the beautiful Gold Coast Broadwater.
We said from the 40k mark it was going to roughly be around about 8 minutes to close out. She's been going now for 7 minutes and 25 seconds. So this is going to be really, really close to that 2:8:30.
Right on the money, Troopy, by the looks of it. And here she comes.
Oh, strong effort. Oh,
an exhausted, a triumphant, but a victorious Risa Takenaka of Japan, giving Japanese women yet another victory here at the Gold Coast, the 4th consecutive victory by Japanese women, the 5th in 6 years. As we keep an eye on the time, Risa Takenaka, the winner of the Women's Gold Coast Airport Marathon, a magnificent victory.
Thanks,
our
mate.
winner of the Women's Marathon. Now she can break open in a smile. Now it doesn't matter how much she stumbles. Now it doesn't matter if she collapses, because she has won. She has run herself into exhaustion. Nagami, her compatriot, Keiko Nagami, who closed that gap. She was certainly much closer than what we were able to appreciate coming through the final stages. She'll be just outside potentially. She might even crack 2:30 here.
Yeah, and 10 seconds separated these girls in their last marathon, and it's not going to be too much today again. So very close together.
We will just check that winning time for you for Risa Takenaka as we watch the 2nd place getter in the women's Gold Coast Airport Marathon. Finishing very strongly, Keiko Nagami from Japan. It's a 1-2 for Japan. Their domination of this race, their love affair with this race continues. The crowd rises to the occasion. 2 women under 2 hours 30. Absolutely wonderful. And she finishes, Keiko Nagami, 2:29.32. We'll wait to see how that gets adjusted.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Cameron Hart, 2 women under 2:30. That doesn't happen too often. And 4 men under, was it 5 men you said under 2:10?
4 under 2:10 and women under 2:30. Yeah. That's been a long time goal of this event, to get consistently year in, year out, we're getting women under the 2:30 mark and men under the 2:10 mark. And we've done that for the last 2 years now. And we're getting groups now doing that. So it's been a long-term goal of this event to not just have one-off winners out in front. It's to consistently prove that the Gold Coast Airport Marathon is fast and flat, and we're proving it in the marathon. We had some great results in the half marathon as well. It's ticking all the boxes, and as organisers, we're ecstatic.
And just update Ian, the Australian performances today, because it is the Oceania Championships. We had Rowan Walker that took the victory in 2 hours, 25 minutes and 32 seconds. Nick Van Raaphorst from Ballarat, that works under the tutelage of Steve Monaghetti, took second in 2 hours, 26 minutes and 59 seconds. And Tony Payne from New Zealand was third, running 2 hours and 27 minutes and 58 seconds. But Rowan Walker, Cameron, super consistent. I think next year we need to make him an ambassador of the event.
Well, the name like Walker, you know, he's consistently performing as a good runner. But you look at the times there, 2:25 to 2:27. That's good racing. And for the Oceania marathoning, that's awesome to see. You know, 3 guys battling it out.
And Rowan's 45 years of age. He's won the Australian Championship or the Oceania Championship something like 5 out of the last 7 years, or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, he has been. Mr. Oceania has been his nickname, and he's proven that again.
Just extraordinary stuff, Cam. We are going across to the finish line where Mossy and Robbo are with our Japanese female winner, and they will have interpreter Brett Lana with them. Over to you guys.
Gotta go. Go. No. Go.
Here we are with the winner of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, Risa Takenaka. How are you feeling right now?
調子はどうですか？
調子、そうですね、今回優勝を目指していて、でもタイムももっと速いタイムを目指していたので、それはとても悔しいのですけど、優勝できたことはとても嬉しく思います。
I'm very happy to get the win. That was one of my targets, but I was hoping to run faster, so at the same time a little bit disappointed, but happy to get the win.
How did you find the conditions out there today?
今日のコンディションについては。
そうですね、今の時期としてはしっかりと練習も積んできて、いい状態でスタートすることはできました。
あと天気などはどうだった？
天気は初めは少し肌寒かったんですけど、後半は少し暑いかなって思ったんですけど、それは特に問題はなかったです。ただ力不足でした。
I felt pretty good. I felt pretty comfortable in this kind of weather. In the second half, it did get a bit warmer. Wind wasn't too bad, but I struggled a little bit in the heat, but enough to get the win.
And this is only your second marathon. I mean, how good can you go, you think?
今回2回目のマラソンで、これからどこまで来ると思いますか？
そうですね。この後冬のリオオリンピックの選考レースでまず確実に代表になることを今目標にしているので、それを必ず達成できるようにもっとタイムをこれからは求めてやっていきたいと思います。
Well, my goal for next year is to make the Japanese team for the Rio Olympics, of course. So in the winter, I'll be running one of the selection races for that. So I really need to improve my time. I can't say how far, but I need to improve it enough that I'll make the team.
Now, I know you've been in Australia before for training camps, but here we are today doing your first marathon in Australia. How have you found the Gold Coast? How have you found Australia?
はい、そうですね、すごく走っていて沿道の応援もすごくて、走りながら応援してくれる人も本当に多くて、景色も綺麗でとても楽しく走ることができました。
It was wonderful. I really appreciated the crowd support. The crowd support here on the Gold Coast was fantastic. Really helped me out. The view was also beautiful, so I was enjoying, loving both the support and the view the whole time.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for being down here. We hope to welcome you back again next year, where maybe you can get your PB, go a bit quicker, and all the best at Rio. Hopefully you go well over there.
Thank you.
Arigato.
ありがとうございました。
Well, there we go. The winner here, Rita Takenaka.
Well, wonderful to see. Cam, doesn't that say something that she was praising the view? She was able to enjoy the view while she was going deep into that pain zone and running sub 2:30 and bringing the wonderful sights of the Gold Coast to Japan.
And that's one of the things about our event. That coastline is why we put it there. It's the flattest part of the Gold Coast, but also most scenic. So the fact that our elites are also enjoying the run along the coastline, it's great for the reputation of this event.
So the numbers, if we look at the sheer numbers, just a stunning year. 27,500 runners in total across the 2 days. Record number of entries in the marathon, over 6,000 runners in that regard. The overseas statistics, seeing the rise in some of those countries, China, Malaysia, Japan, getting up there again. This is what we're looking for, to have the name and the reputation, the profile really raised in those on the Asian continent.
It is, and the benefit of being in that time zone, so Southeast Asia through to China, it's a very attractive event for those people to come to. And we've seen the performance of the elite Japanese here this weekend. That's only going to build on the elite side, but also the recreational runners from Japan will keep coming here in huge numbers. And of course, we've got major inroads into China and Hong Kong this year. We had our elite Chinese girl last year, so this event is going to keep moving and moving, and internationals coming here in record numbers. 3,000 runners from overseas this year, and more to come.
And of course, our focus will get closer and closer to the Commonwealth Games, less than 3 years away now. So the profile and the reputation in Commonwealth countries as well will be interesting to see over the next 3 years.
Yeah, very much so, and particularly at the sharp end of that men's race, as you said, with 3 men under 209 from Commonwealth nations. That's outstanding for this event. Gold Coast 2018 Commonwealth Games is going to be huge for the city of the Gold Coast. And the marathon is going to be a feature of that event. So we're really pleased to play a lead-up role to showcase what the city is capable of.
The logistics of putting an event on like this, I know we probably haven't given as much of a plug to your major sponsors, but the ASICs, the Gold Coast Airport guys, Garmin, they have been loyal and faithful, particularly Gold Coast Airport, for many, many years. And the team that you guys pull together to make this happen, it's a well-oiled machine.
It is, and thank you for that. But our partners, they're not just cash sponsors to sit back and write us a cheque. They get involved in the event, and they all have interest in the event being successful. Gold Coast Airport, as a naming rights partner, they're about bringing people into the city. So through their international connections with various airports, that's where we're getting that Southeast Asian and Japan market coming through. ASICS, obviously a global running brand, they help out with a lot with our ASICS app. And a lot of their leverage as well. Obviously, Garmin on board, Southern Cross University have some international connections as well. They all play a part in making sure this event is successful, and we're really pleased to have such great loyal partners.
And they leverage their own relationships. So Suncorp bringing a former Test legend like Adam Gilchrist to the field. He and his wife Mel will still be out there, probably suffering a little bit in the heat as we rise to 23, 24 degrees. But they have their own buy-in and their own sort of regard for it in that regard. So just to run through the official women's finishing there. So we have Japan 1, 2, 3, Benita. Fantastic to see, 2 women sub 2:30.
Oh, it's a fantastic result, and these Japanese women, they're not in the World Champs team, so it just goes to show the depth of running in Japan at the moment and in the future as well. And I think these top two can go on to bigger and better things. And Takenaka, her coach, I'm going to have a go here from Tokyo, Enjoyo Kenotu. We just want to give a shout out to him because he was watching our telecast, and he's pumped for her win.
And Brendan Riley, her agent, obviously is in Boulder, Colorado. But Risa Takenaka's time was 2 hours 28 and 25, and second was Kieko Nogami, which was 2 hours 29 and 34, and then third was Manami, and this is going to test me, Kami Tananita.
I've had a bit of training from Brett Lana.
Very, very fluent that, and her time was 2 hours 33 minutes and 43 seconds. So that's our top 3 official, and now what we need to do is just wait for our Australian women, and then we can give the top 3 of that as well.
So that is fantastic to see. We will go down to the as soon as we get our final preparations for the presentations of the men's and women's winners, we'll go down to the finish line there. Cameron, where to from here? I guess our expectations keep getting raised. We cracked 2:10 last year, we cracked 2:09 this year. I mean, where is the limit for this event? You probably don't want to set a limit, I'm guessing.
Well, we're achieving goals in a year by year basis, but it's all about just improving ourselves next year, and those partnerships that I spoke about will help us deliver that. Obviously, our key partner is the Queensland Government through Tourism Events Queensland, who have an interest in seeing this event grow in international status to bring more international runners to this event, but importantly, they help us with the gold label athletes as well. So the combination of major partnerships with the Queensland Government supporting the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, that achieved us to get to where we are, and that support continuing will only go to greater heights.
So we've got a bit of a split there on Adam and Mel Gilchrist through 30 kilometres, 2:31.53. Adam and Mel were very modestly just seeking A, to finish, B, if they thought they could break 4 hours, they'd be delighted with that, but that looks, that might put them well on sub 4 hour pace. For their first marathon, that would be absolutely fantastic. A shout out to Krishna Stanton, who achieved her goal of running quicker than 1 hour 24 in the half marathon. Krish ran 1:21.22, and just great to see, Cam, these people come back to the event, you know, former runners who still see some emotional connection and still want to be part of an event like this.
Yeah, and that's been part of the status of this event regrowing and getting to the heights it is now, where people are coming back in, they're hearing about the Gold Coast Airport Marathon, and they want to come back and be a part of it. And chatting with Ryan and Sarah Hall a little while back after their experience today, they just love it, and they're always talking about coming back and perhaps bringing a group. So we're having great success with building international reputation.
And what do you think was the standout performance today? Because, I mean, basically the 4 winners that we had, or 5 winners, even if we include the wheelchair performances today with Bill, you know, they were amazing. I mean, Takenaka was amazing in the women's race. Mungara, I mean, as a veteran, to be able to do what he did, I mean, he fell off that lead group probably a good 15 times today. And then you've got the half marathon as well. I mean, both were great races. I mean, Eloise ran a huge PR. I mean, what was a standout performance from you today? I
think you summed it up then, Lee. It was the racing. It wasn't necessarily the winning at the pointy end. It was actually the racing that went through the whole of each of the events. But I think probably Eloise, her performance for Australian distance running, you know, we've had that little late time where we need a new champion to come through, and her performance and how she's building her reputation, particularly in the Australian standings, that's something that Australian distance running needs, and she's helping to deliver it.
And what do we do now as far as the Australians go? I mean, this has always been a topic of conversation year in, year out, that you are a gold label race, you are internationally renowned, you now have fast times across the board in the half marathons and the marathons. How do we try to really get the top-tiered Australian athletes to really embrace this and utilise this as part of their prep, particularly before they do head overseas, and for those that may miss out on a national team, still being able to factor this as part of their season?
And that's it. We need to get them to see this as part of their season, and the fact that we're bringing the calibre of international runners here, they no longer need to travel halfway around the world to race the world's best. They can do that here with the comfort of being in Australia, comfortable with the food, have their support group around them, and as a lot of people talked over the weekend, the key to success is having that great support group. So domestic runners really have a great opportunity to embrace what the Gold Coast Airport Marathon to offer, to prove their wares, and then go on to bigger and better things overseas, but certainly use this event to launch international careers. I think there's no better place to do it.
Certainly, and if any Australian athletes and promising Australian athletes are looking at this, you know, this is an event that you need to consider. I mean, we go back to Steve Monaghetti, you know, when he was going to have that big battle with Benson Massio, which had ended up being another Ethiopian, but Pat Carroll's won it 4 times. I've obviously had a win. You know, Benita Johnson, Willis, I do apologise, is back to obviously promote the event. Lisa Ondieki, Kerry McCann, like the list of Australian notable athletes that have performed well on the international stage have at some point in their career utilised this event.
Yeah, and that's what we want to build the future generation around this event. If we can be that launching pad, that's certainly one of our key goals. International running is important for us, but it's about, you know, working with the Australian running community to use the Gold Coast Airport Marathon for the performance to grow.
And I see Lisa Waitman has the record here for the half marathon, and then she went on, you know, I think 69 minutes here, then 2:26 at Melbourne Marathon. So she's an example of someone that's really stepping up to perform in these Australian races and put them on the scene for the international runners.
So I guess that's the thing, that sort of launch pad, that and that connection to other races and from other races, that despite the tyranny of distance, that isn't a factor here anymore. Okay, it's challenging physically for some runners to make the travel distance, but we look at a guy who's over 40 and he comes here and runs close to a PR and runs a world record, certainly for a master. That's quite extraordinary. Cam, just checking on our favourite, or one of my favourites, Yuki Kawauchi. Not his best day at the office, but as ever, an absolutely honest effort. 2:16.23, that's still a terrific time. And you know that in having Yuki back here, you get nothing less than 100%.
Yeah, that's right. He'll be a little disappointed at that. I think he was looking at possibly 2:13, something around there. He was honest that he wasn't probably at his peak. But still, you know, Yuki is a gutsy runner, and that to him to finish and at that time he would have struggled a little bit, but it's all about the performance of the Japanese runners, and Yuki digs deep. So he'll be back. He's already talking about next year, you know, even before he ran this year's race. So he's become a crowd favourite. We'd love to have him back.
And I've got a running joke with Yuki that I said I've got to find him an Australian wife here at the Gold Coast. So so we haven't done that yet, but maybe that'll bring him back next year.
Well, he told me he's bringing his mother back next for holiday, so she might be the quality control on the women you introduced to him. So.
And there are a few Kawauchi brothers. He's got a couple of younger brothers who are also very good runners, maybe not quite in his league as well. So who knows, that Kawauchi family name could
He'll be
continue.
on the plane tonight and he'll be at work tomorrow.
I know, that's the thing.
That's the amazing thing about him is he'll wrap
back in the office,
get straight onto the plane, he'll fly the red eye, get into to Japan tomorrow morning and he'll head straight to work and he'll be there by lunchtime.
And he'll run 30k recovery run or training run either tomorrow or the next day, which just blows us away in terms of his commitment and his level of physical endurance. Cam, we'll have the closing ceremony very shortly, the presentations as we see runners come through the finish line. I mean, for these guys, 2:45, as we well know, getting a little bit older, you know, anything under 3 hours, for these guys, 2:45, these are triumphant times. These are fantastic times. The amount of hard work you've got to put in to run these sort of times is still extraordinary.
It is, and that finish line experience, we look at that grandstand, it's packed, and for these guys and girls to be coming through at that time, they've worked hard, they'll be hurting, it's getting a little bit warm out there now, but this last 200 metres, they'll just be soaking that up, they'll be grinning from ear to ear and just appreciating and enjoying the work that they've done and that they can now start celebrating.
So, runners coming down the line, there's a range of PBs, there's a range of times in there. Most people will be happy, certainly happy to finish, and I should imagine many of these runners finishing now.
This might be our first female. Our first female athlete has to be coming across the line very, very soon.
Yeah.
There we go. 2:45.46, and I'm not sure who that is. We're going to find that out for you very, very quickly.
There you go. So Victoria Beck, a Queenslander, a local win for the Oceania Marathon Championships, 2:45.52. That's a terrific run by Victoria.
Yeah, and it's just off her PB, and that's from back in 2010. So she's run very well, and you know, we know that in the last 10k here, she would have been by herself a lot, not really knowing where everyone else was. So very good, very good.
And Cam, just going back to the event, I mean, this is just a huge weekend, isn't it? I mean, it starts off on the Friday with the press conference and we have the gala dinner, and then Saturday, you know, we roll in with all the kids' races, the 5.7, the 10K, we have the Garmin luncheon, and then we roll into today. What do? You sit down, you'll have a debrief, obviously, with your team. What do you look at doing next year that takes you to an even greater level than where you already are?
At this point of it, it's a lot of the little things that we just need to tighten up and fine-tune. As you say, there's a lot of supplementary events on, but 8 races over 2 days is no mean feat in its own, from the junior races right through to 4 races on each day. There's a lot of logistics goes into that, and we have a lot of partnerships and work with suppliers such as the Gold Coast City Council, emergency services to deliver this event. So we'll take in a lot of information from a lot of stakeholders and look at what could have been improved. And certainly there were some minor things that went wrong over the course of the weekend. It's identifying those and then eradicating them next time around.
It's a cycle of continuous improvement, isn't it? And that's where I guess, you know, the great races of the world have got their prestige. I mean, nobody used to run. I've heard of Berlin 25 years ago. I'm not sure how long it's been going, but the fact that that is the go-to race for a world record these days, not suggesting we can get a world record in the open category, but we think we've got a world record in the Masters category here today. That would secretly make you quite pleased if we can confirm that too, I'm sure.
And there could be another one too. There's a Japanese guy by the name of Hasaka who returns every year. He's in his late 60s and he smashes the world record for his age group. He runs, you know, sub 240s and he's in his 60s. So that may be a world record up there. But that debriefing and pulling this event apart and growing it, a lot of that is to do with the team I have. You know, they're a very experienced and committed team. They come from a range of backgrounds and going extraordinarily well.
And what's the economic benefit to the Gold Coast during this one weekend of the year?
Over $21 million we're anticipating.
All right, we're going to cross to the finish line now to Mark Beretta from Channel 7 with the presentations for the winners of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon.
Join us, thank you, Kate. Won't get you to sing, Kate, or anything. And the Gold Coast Airport Managing Director, Dennis Chant, to join us as well. And the Gold Coast Airport Marathon Chairman, Kerry Watson, to take us through proceedings. Kerry, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to begin by offering my thanks to the thousands of you, runners, walkers, wheelchair athletes and volunteers, who have converged on the Broadwater Parklands for this, the 37th Annual Gold Coast Airport Marathon. To see so many of you here with smiles on your faces, you may be recovering from your debut marathon or half marathon. You may be a veteran of this magnificent Gold Coast event, or you were here to loudly cheer for your family and friends. This is the greatest reward for us as the organisers of the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. To our valued sponsors, staff, contractors, stakeholders, and the 1,200 strong volunteer team, I thank you for your continued support and commitment to this event. Without you, we could not deliver the Gold Coast Airport Marathon to the high standard it is renowned for. Thank you all. I would now like to acknowledge here with me today for those presentations the Minister for Education, Tourism, Major Events, Small Business and the Commonwealth Games, the Honourable Kate Jones, and Gold Coast Airport Managing Director Dennis Chant. Dennis, I wish to welcome you to the podium to say a few words on behalf of the naming rights sponsors, the Gold Coast Airport. Dennis.
Thank you, Kerry. Minister Kate Jones and Mayor Tom Tate, all of the fantastic athletes that have been here today and everybody that's been supporting this great event. Our 13 years of sponsorship, I think today has really been the crowning glory for us. To have three runners do a 2:08 time on Australian soil is fantastic. We do hope that we do see many more Australians in the future featuring in that sub 2:10 and hopefully in the future the sub 2:08. So to everybody who today has achieved what they set out to do, and in most cases I think many people achieved more than they set out to do. And in closing, I'd just like to thank Kerry Watson and the team at Events Management Queensland at the most fantastic and professional effort that's been put into this. I think the quality of the field, we've always had the numbers, we've been building up the numbers, but now we've been working on the quality, and that's been recognised with the gold label accreditation, and now I think with the numbers we're going to see this event go in terms of quality bigger and better every year. So for all of those of you that have visited the Gold Coast, please come back again next year. We can promise you the weather's going to be fantastic, the hospitality will be equally as warm. So thank you again and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Dennis. And just before asking the Minister to join, I'd just like to acknowledge the presence, which is always supporting our event greatly, is His Worship the Mayor of the Gold Coast, the Councillor Tom Tate. Thank you, Tom. Now I'd just like to welcome a great supporter of our race, the Honourable Kate Jones, Minister for Tourism and many portfolio activities.
Well, what a morning. Thank you, Gold Coast, for once again, and thank you, Mayor Tom Tate, for putting on this beautiful weather. And what we've seen here this morning is the Gold Coast Marathon has been growing its reputation for being the most beautiful track in Australia, and now it's one of the fastest. The times we've seen here today will really put the Gold Coast Airport Marathon not only on the Australian map, but internationally. And this year, for the first time, we saw more than 6,000 entrants in the marathon race, and we want to acknowledge each and every single one of you, particularly all our international visitors and competitors that have come to the Gold Coast to experience the marathon for themselves. From the Queensland Government, we are proud sponsors of this major event. We know that it is a draw card for the Gold Coast, and of course is a great win for the local Gold Coast economy. And I want to acknowledge all of the 1,200 volunteers, many of which are local, that ensure that the Gold Coast Marathon continues to grow and is always making sure everyone feels welcome here on the beautiful Gold Coast. Finally, as the Minister for the Commonwealth Games, this is just a taste of the energy and excitement that we will enjoy in 2018. And of course, the marathon will be part of that. So thank you to everybody that has contributed. Thank you to all the competitors. And thank you for the Gold Coast for putting on, once again, the wonderful Gold Coast Airport Marathon. Thank you so much.
Minister, thank you very much, and we look forward to the Commonwealth Games in 2018 now, as well as next year's Gold Coast Airport Marathon. Can I invite to stand by on the stage for us too the Chief Executive Officer of Citizen Watchers Global, Mr. Tomoaki Imazeki, who'll be making a presentation for us very shortly. Time now to congratulate our 3 place getters in the men's marathon. In 3rd place, in a time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, 55 seconds, Evan Kipchoge Ruto from Kenya. In 2nd place, in a time of 2 hours, 8 minutes and 54 seconds, Sala Kipkemboi Limo from Kenya. You had to run a race record today to get on the podium, and in 1st place with the new race record, 2 hours, 8 minutes, 42 seconds, Kenneth Mungara from Kenya. Thank you, gentlemen. Presentation to 2nd place now. And now to our champion. And I'd now invite the Minister and the Mayor to congratulate our top 3 place getters. All good. Thank you. Quick photo. And now, ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you to stand for the national anthem of Kenya. Fantastic clean sweep for Kenya, ladies and gentlemen, our top 3 place getters from the 2015 Gold Coast Airport Marathon. Evans, would you like to come and say a few words? Or we can do that later. would you like to come and have a moment? Please. Congratulations on a magnificent race.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, my name is Kenneth Mungara, and I've enjoyed a lot to be here in Australia. This is my first time to be in Australia. Madam, I've enjoyed. Next time we'll be here, there will be more than what we did today. Next year it will be better. Okay. I have no anything to add on that because everything in the hotel, everywhere we go, we have to enjoy. Even the people here, isn't cheering us. We are okay and we enjoy it a lot. Thank you very much.
Evans, thank you very much. We move on now to the presentation of our top 3 women. And to present third place firstly. Third place in a time of 2 hours, 33 minutes and 43 seconds, Manamai Kamitanida from Japan.
Hey!
In second place in 2 hours, 29 minutes, 34 seconds, Keiko Nagami from Japan. And our champion, in first place in 2 hours, 28 minutes and 25 seconds, Risa Takenaka from Japan. And we invite the Minister and the Mayor to pass on their congratulations to our 3 women's top place getters. And ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand now for the national anthem of Japan. Risa, could I ask you, Risa, would you like to come and say a few words?
Thank you. Many people cheering me. I'm so very, very happy. And beautiful beach. I'm very so happy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We might set up a photo now, if we can, with our 3 men's place getters and our 3 women's place getters back on the podium. I think we're looking for that photo, if we could get our 3 place getters back. Or we may not do that. Okay, good. Good. Let's not do that then. But let's just thank our official party. Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, team. Thank you to Seiko, and thank you to Gold Coast Airports for your support. A great day, a great race, and a great presentation. Congratulations.
Thank you very much to Mark Beretta out with the presentations. Well, guys, we've had fun here in the commentary box. Great to have you back, Benita. Trippy, great to have you on board permanently throughout. It gave you sort of 4.5 hours to talk, and I know how much you like to talk.
Well, look, between you, me, Mona, Deke, and we'll leave Benita out of this, I think we could actually talk underwater. So it was actually great to be able to come here and obviously share a little bit of knowledge of what we have, especially for the viewers that are sitting at home, that, you know, it's all about education. So hopefully they enjoyed our broadcast.
Look, we hope you've enjoyed the broadcast here. It has been another historic day, another record-making day for the Gold Coast Airport Marathon. Benita, we hope to see you here again, and I guess you can go have a chance to talk to your athletes and get a download and share the highs and lows of their event.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they all went. I haven't had a chance to follow them as much as I would have liked to, but yeah, it's been a great day. Really good runs from the front from a few people in these marathons, and also from Eloise Wellings. I think, you know, she's a standout for me today.
Yeah. That was fantastic. Just to correct the earlier record on the winner of the Oceania title, Jonathan Peters of Queensland was the winner of the men's Oceania title, the first Australian home, another Queensland, 2:21.14. Rowan Walker was in fact second in 2:25.32. So a proud Queensland day leading into a state of origin, we might say. Benita, I know you'll appreciate that. Maybe not these Mexicans here, but that Queensland has won the men's and the women's titles in Oceania here at the Gold Coast Airport Marathon.
Just to chime in, this is pretty amazing for Queensland, because Queensland really hasn't had a lot of depth in these type of races. And I know with what Pat Carroll's been doing, and especially Benita now coming back to Brisbane, there certainly seems to be a little bit of a rush. And for locals to be able to embrace the event the way that they do, this is a great platform for them. And I think they've had just an outstanding day today. So, you know, to the Queensland athletes that have certainly embraced it, they've certainly got the results. And it speaks just volumes of the work that the coaches and guys like Pat Carroll are doing behind the scenes.
I'm sure that'll mean a lot to the locals, Trippy, hearing your expert and sincere words. Look, we will wrap it up now. Thank you very much for joining us. Another fantastic year for Gold Coast Airport Marathon. It has been quite an exciting day, a record-breaking day. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you in 2016. I didn't think this.
force from above, cleaning my soul. Flame on burn desire, love with tongues of fire, purge the soul, make love your I'll protect you from the hooded claw, keep the vampires from your door. When the chips are down, I'll be around with my undying, death-defying love for you. Envy will hurt itself. Let yourself be beautiful, sparkling like flowers and pearls and pretty girls. Love is like an energy, rushing inside of me.